we're gonna have two computers in each side. This is a very basic topology here. And let's connect fast Ethernet 1 to fast 0, fast Ethernet 2 to fast 0. Please, in the meantime, go guys and download the oh yeah, sure. I forget to put the port inside. Go turn it off. I'm gonna need just one in this example. All right, so as you can see, it's very, very basic. A topology, two computers connected to switch here. So usually what we do usually we design this thing a little bit different, right? We put the router in the middle, two ports to the router, one going to one switch, one going to one switch, just like this. So the topology usually it's separated by the router here. So router have two ports, one in each network, and we can have one network in a side and another network in the side, and put the default gateways to this port for this side and default gateway to this port to this side. And we're gonna have like kind of two networks, one each side of the router. VLAN change this by allowing the networks, two different networks or multiple networks, the frames to be tagged with a number, and they will consider them in different networks, but they're going to transport them in the same mediums. I mean, the same hardware, same physical network. We can have multiple networks. Let's say this one going to be my first network, the red one, and in the same port here. And we can have another network here sharing the stuff, see, going also inside in the same port and having this computer belonging to him. And the router going to route the traffic. So this computer and this computer will be in the same network. And this computer and this computer will be in the same network, something like that, right? Of course, we are doing a very simple topology here as an introduction, right? Let's see, sharing the same switch. I have two networks on it. Sharing the same cable. I have two networks on it. I can have multiple, right? We're just doing simple topology having two. I can have more than two. You can have a lot, right? So this is VLANs. VLANs having the same physical infrastructure and making virtual LAN, virtual local area network. So LAN is local area network that we already know. What is it? Okay. And V is for virtual. So they like for example, when you have a computer before, right? You have your computer, you needed a machine for it. You needed a hardware for that Windows, for example, and you're gonna install your whatever Windows here, okay, and you needed that hardware, but now you can use hypervisors. One of them, for example, is Hyper-V, and you can have multiple windows sharing the same physical stuff, right? Okay, so there you go. When you have a computer here, you can put a hypervisor. You're sharing the same hardware for multiple operational systems. Well, it's the same concept, but now it's for networks, cables and switches and routers that they build a network, and they can share the hardware for multiple different networks in the same time. Remember when we did this topology before, and we have the switch. I'm not sharing anything. I have one network in the side, I have one network in the side, and the router belongs to the two, etc. Right? But there's no share. There's no traffic in the same way. Like here, for example, you see that the cable here is handling two. The switch is also managing traffic for two or more different networks. The router here is one port. See, one port, but it's handling two different networks. See, it's sharing the hardware. It's the same hardware, same infrastructure of hardware, and the traffic for multiple networks, virtual ones, they're gonna transit inside that infrastructure. Is it clear till here? Good. It's just to understand what is VLANs, right? After it's just commands. So in the PDF that I gave you, please follow with me there. You have the first thing in there called trunking. Right. So what is a trunk? Trunk is a protocol. Trunk is a protocol called trunk. The trunk protocol is the protocol that allow us to make multiple virtual networks transit over one cable. One cable. See here, for example, this cable is on mode trunk because you see it's one cable, one crossover cable, and he's handling more than one network. So he need the trunk mode on the ports here to be able to do that. Where is another trunk here? Here, for example, this one is on mode trunk. The port here is on mode trunk. So the port can transit multiple different networks in the same cable. Right. So those, they are configured with a command named switch port or switch mode, right? For the port. So with switch port, we have two different type of switch port. We have switch port trunk to enable a trunk here, for example. And as you can see, this one or this one, they are handling one VLAN and never more than one, because they just go to the computer and the computer belong to one VLAN, the IP address, right? So those are on mode access. Okay. This means never trunk. Here, this means transit multiple ones. Here, never transit multiple ones. Right? So the port numbers here are on mode access. Okay, those are on mode trunks. That's it. You already know how to do VLANs. Well, almost. Yeah. We have the protocol .1q is the trunk. Okay. In all the mode, we can use it in another command, saying the .1q to split the IPs. Right. Here we don't have an IP address, it's just a It's just tags of frames since it's switch. But in this one router, we have, for example, the whatever it was, G something, G00. Okay, so I need to split this network card to two virtual network cards. I need to use the encapsulation of the trunk that is marked .1Q. So the .1Q is a protocol. Okay, but it encapsulates the packets here in two different virtual network cards. So I'm gonna have, for example, GI. Well, first I had 00, right? Using .1Q, I will be able to do this. GI, for example, and I will have 0, 0, 10. See, and another one, GI 00 dot 20 or dot 1, dot 2, dot 100, dot 200, and they can have several mores, right? So I can split it in two, I can split it in 3 and 4, but it's the same network card, but virtually it can have two IP addresses. So one gonna be for the VLAN, for example, whatever, let's say the red is VLAN 10, and the older one gonna be for VLAN 20. It's not because of this number, right? This number can be 2 here. That's it. But this is the .1Q. So the .1Q is a protocol that handle this virtualization of the card on mode trunk. Okay, it's named, the process here is named in encapsulation. So we encapsulate under the .1Q protocol and network card or a connector here if you want. I can do it for fast Ethernet or even Ethernet, right? I'm just doing GAI here because of I have the G gigabyte 00. If I have fast Ethernet, I'm gonna put FE001 and FE002 or FE00 dot something and dot something. Right. And after I will mention that, okay, the dot this thing is gonna be the VLAN, for example, 20, and the other gonna be VLAN 30. Okay. Let's say, for example, the red is the VLAN. This is VLAN 20, and the green will be VLAN 30. So I need, first of all, to go to the green ports here, see, and tell them each one that should be on VLAN 30 and it's in mode access. And this one gonna be in mode access. So this is what I have to do and declare them. This is VLAN 30 and this is VLAN 30 here. So in this port number. And after I need to play with the other ports here. So I'm gonna put them on mode trunk here and here and here. See that I have 3 ports on mode trunk. So I go there to that port and say, yeah, yo, you're gonna work on trunk mode. Here you're gonna work on trunk mode, and here you're gonna work on trunk mode. Right. I'm gonna declare those on mode access VLAN 20, the red ones. So I'm gonna say you are on mode access. You see this card here. You are on mode access VLAN 30, VLAN 20, sorry, the red one. And here also you are on VLAN 20. And the router, I'm gonna split the whatever card is connected here using the .1Q protocol and give an IP address to each one and say that you are in mode 20 and you are in mode 30, VLAN 30, sorry. And you're gonna have this IP address, whatever, blah 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 IP in here, blah 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 IP for the other network, and I will set the IPs for my computers. And after I will have those guys, they're gonna be in the same network, same VLAN, and those guys they're gonna be in the same VLAN. So this is exactly the detailed process of what we're gonna do, right? So VLANs have names also. Okay, it's not just the numbers. So we have VLANs going from VLAN 0 till VLAN whatever numbers here, I guess is 65 something thousands, etc. Right. The VLAN 1 is a special one. It's this one is reserved for the VTP and stuff that the switches share. And the VLAN default is always 1, right? Also is reserved for packets that switches transport, etc. And the VLAN native one, it's the VLAN that where there's no tags. Okay, because once the VLANs are activated in these switches, the frames will be tagged with the number of the VLANs, right? But what if we need to send something without tag for some specific protocol, okay, that doesn't need a tag at all, right? Routing protocol, some synchronization, something that doesn't have anything to do with the VLANs. So we're going to use the native VLAN. There's no tags in there. Is the untagged across the chunks. So wherever we have the chunk, the default VLAN is untagged. Of course, we will not touch it at all. It's just to explain what is it. Okay, the default VLAN is always 1 also at first. So this is the native and this is the default. It's the same, right? But the default one will always stay 1. The native, we can change it. We will not change it also. Just telling you that we can change the native VLAN. The untagged stuff, I can put them, for example, I can choose the number 2. I can choose the number 10. Let's take VLAN 10. It's the untagged one. They don't have a tag in there, right? So in the trunks here, for other purpose, used for other purposes. Just to let you know that those things exist, right? VLAN 0 is already reserved for the stuff, and the 1 is the default and the native one. The default would always stay 1, but the native can be changed, right? This is all about the introduction for VLANs. Of course, there's more, right? There's more, but this is what we're gonna do here. A good introduction. At least we can configure 2 different networks working under trunks, and we're gonna make them work. So please, if you have any question till here, I'm all yours. In the meantime, I will clean up this, and we're gonna start configuring. After the rest is just commands. You have any question, guys? We're good. So the main idea behind the VLANs first is multiple virtual networks that they're gonna work under one physical infrastructure of networks, right? VLANs have numbers, so from VLAN 0 to VLAN whatever. They have names. I can, for example, choose VLAN 1 or VLAN 1, VLAN 10, for example, for one specific network. And I can name it that this is a human resource department, for example, if I want that, right? So I can give a name for and use this name for configuration also. I can name this VLAN 20, the whatever, the marketing or the engineering or the design department, etc. So they can have names also, right? The VLANs have numbers by default. So, and each number can have name. And we need to declare those names also on the switch and routers, etc. Okay, let's set up a little configuration. I'm waiting for your whatever uh, questions if you have, right? Let's take two sample networks here. 1, 0, 192.168.2.0. The class C, right? The classic. They have the subnet mask 255.255.250. And yeah, let's put some colors to be able to. Okay, let's take this. Why is not doing it? Seriously? Okay. All right. This one doesn't want to go anymore. Okay. So let's take the green ones here, right? So this is green. This is green. And of course, we're going to have some green on top here and here. Let's take the same color that we took in our example. So this is going to be the red. And we're going to have some red here. Just to have a better visual of what we're going to do. So we have two networks. See, all the reds are should be in the same, and all the greens should be on the same. And yeah, that's it. Let's put some. Okay, let's take. This is my green. And this is our red. Let's say this one gonna be VLAN, whatever, 10. This one gonna be VLAN 20. There you go. All right, let's configure first our computers here. Oh, let's take first address in the first VLAN. 168.1.1. And of course, you're gonna have the. We can use subnets, by the way, right? He can have 192.168.1. Let's take the address 10 as a default gateway, or 100, for example. Of course, this address here, it will be configured with the .1 queue in the router after on this port G00, right? So this one gonna be the default gateway for this guy and this guy. PC4 and PC2, they're gonna have their default gateway with the address that I will put here on the green side of this port G00. Okay. And same thing here. So this one will be in the same network, 192.168.1.2, and the default gateway is the same, 100. So this is exactly the same default gateway that I gave here, and it will be the green card, the green side of the virtual portion of the G00 here. Let's take PC3. Those guys are in a different network here, 192.168.2.1, and same, they're gonna have a default gateway 2.100 or 2.10 or something, and it will be the red .1q here. So the virtual .1q of the red one here, right? And the same here, some address 192.168 2 192.168 to 100. Here you go. All right, my computers are set, all set. Here. See, I have some default gateway in each one, some IP address in the network of each VLAN. Right. Remember, the red is VLAN 20, the green is the VLAN 10. Okay. All right, let's see the first green here. Which interface is it? So F1, F01 and F02 is for VLAN 20. The same thing on the switches, we have the command line, and it works with the same command, with the same principle, with the same logic as we saw in the routers before. Okay, so you have enable, conft, same modes, right? The exec modes and the enable modes and the configuration mode, and you can choose the interfaces, etc. But just the interfaces here are on the layer 2, so you don't have IPs. See, I can always choose the whatever mode here graphically and choose the number whatever here, right? So I can do that. But let's do it with the commands. Okay, so I'm on the first switch. I have this port number F01 that is on VLAN 10. Okay. There you go. So we're at the beginning. See that the switch works exactly the same. Enable and some conft, and I can declare the VLANs first, all of them at once, or I can work one by one, as in the example that I gave you in there. All right. So I have the VLAN 10, the first one, the green one. Okay. Here you go. Now you see that I'm under the configuration of the VLAN, and I can give a name for that one. So name, I just name it VLAN 10. Right. There you go. Now we have a VLAN 10 enabled in here. There's no interface yet in here at all. But remember, the first interface that I have to configure on this VLAN is the interface F01 on the switch. And this interface is on which mode? It's not a trunking. You see that in this cable, I don't have the red and the green. I have just the green. So it's on the access mode. The switch port should be on the mode access. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose the interface F01. I'm inside the interface. I will do switch port mode access. Here we go. and in which VLAN he gonna be in, which VLAN he gonna support, the red or the green, we don't know, right? So we need to set it on the VLAN 10. So we're gonna say the switch port access is on VLAN 10. Sorry, there we go, a little space here, right? Now the F01, you're gonna transport the VLAN 10, those addresses. Guys, I have an echo here. I don't know who enabled his microphone. I'm gonna just disable it, sorry. If you need to ask a question or something, just let me know, right? There we go, okay, thanks. All right, so the first one is done. We need to, you see now it was been orange for a while to configure the VLAN, and now it's up on green. And let's take the second one. So the second one is F20, and we're gonna do the same, but this one gonna be on VLAN 20, right? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do VLAN, or we're gonna declare a new one. I'm on mode VLAN. I'm gonna give a name for it, name VLAN 20, for example. Here you go. Now I have VLAN 20 available on my switch. I need to assign it to the F02. So I'm going to choose the interface F02. One more time. You see those process. There's no condition that you're going to do them on this order, right? I was able to declare all the VLANs, name them first, both, and after configure the interfaces. Okay, I'm going interface by interface, VLAN by VLAN, just to go slowly. I was able to do VLAN 10 name, VLAN engineering or something, and VLAN 20 name, VLAN marketing. So I have the VLANs, and after I go to the interface mode, switch port mode access, a switch port access VLAN 10, VLAN whatever. All right. I can even choose here, for example, multiple interfaces to configure them at once. You see, switches have a lot of interface here. I can choose interface range, and put, for example, 0 from 1 to 5. So you're gonna take all the interfaces 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5. Just in case we have a lot of interfaces to work in the same VLANs or configure them at once, right? It's not our case. I would just take F02 here, okay? Interface F02, he's on switch port mode access also, right? You see, he's just handling the red one and VLAN 20, okay? So switch port mode access and switch port, and the access to what? Access to VLAN 20. All right, see, switch to orange here. He's setting the VLAN, and you're gonna go up on green after. We need to do exactly the same for switch, the second switch for this and this guy, but here it's a little bit different. All right, here it's more easier because we need just to say that it's on mode trunk. That's it. So we're going to say switch port mode instead of access. I'm going to say that this interface is on mode trunk, and that's it. So he's going to trunk whatever VLAN is coming, he can pass through it. So we'll be able, the port here will be able to support multiple networks, different virtual networks in the same time. Okay. What is the interface, by the way, here is the G01, right? So let's choose that interface, G01. And we're gonna say switch port mode trunk. There you go. Of course, we need to do the same on the other side here for the second switch right here. So let's see what is this port here. It's G01. I'm gonna start with it. Enable conf t. I'm gonna say switch port interface first. G01 switch port mode trunk. And after I will declare my VLANs also. I have a VLAN 10 that have the name VLAN 10. And the interface that have the access mode on VLAN 10 is F something here, the green, F01. And switch port mode access. And switch port access VLAN 10. There we go. I have also VLAN 20. Name VLAN 20. And the interface that's going to handle the VLAN 20 here is the F02 interface F02. And switch port mode, it's an access, this one, it's not a trunk. And switch port access VLAN 20. There we go. You can see show interface trunk. Do show because I'm outside. And you see that he's telling me that the trunking is on the gig 01. VLANs allowed from 1 to 1000 whatever 5 here. And I already have the native one that it's 1 by default. I can change it. And I have VLANs 10 and 20. See, so this guy is trunking 3 VLANs now. I have the default or the native one that is 1, where stuff gonna go untagged, and handling the 2 that I declared by myself, the 10 and 20. The encapsulation, of course, of the trunk is the .1q. .1q is the same as referenced as 802, right? See the 1q here, and this is what we call it, .1q. But when we use it on the command, we use .dot on the routers or the switches also. Okay, but this is the protocol trunk, the reference of it. It's encapsulated on the .1q. Right? See that if I tape also do show VLAN brief, you see that it's telling me that the F01 is on the VLAN 10 and the F02 is on the VLAN 2. Okay, as you can see, the others are not enabled on any VLANs, the other ports. But they all work on the native one and tagged by default, by the way. Right. Let's say that when we have a switch and we don't have VLANs configured, so it's just packets thrown. In reality, you are already working on a VLAN. This is the VLAN 1, the native one, right? So in all the whatever switches we used before, in all the labs, you were working on VLANs without knowing it. You have VLAN 1 in there. So when you don't mention anything about VLANs, you don't name them, you don't create your own, the normal traffic is already under that native one, or the default one is VLAN 1. Okay. All right, so we still need one configuration on this for this guy here. See that he has trunk also in the other side, the 02. So I need to say that the interface G02, see he have trunk in both sides here. We did it on the 01, the G01, but we need to enable also on the G02 the more the trunk in. So interface G02, we're just choosing the interface, and switch port mode trunk, that's it. So switch port mode trunk. There you go. This switch is done. This switch here is done. So we configured both here on access mode. We configured this one on mode trunk, and we just configured this one on mode trunk. All right. Now let's go to to our router. If I do remember, here is the G00. Okay. Now enable conft, right? And I'm gonna choose the interface, but with dot something, right? You remember .1q 802 dot, because we are splitting the card using that dot. So I have the G00, right? But when I use this one, I will split it on 2 or 3 or 4. Here in our case, I'm gonna just split it on 2. One gonna be for VLAN 10. It doesn't matter, right? I can choose 5. I can choose for VLAN 10. It's okay. It's not because of the number that I'm choosing here. It's easy for me to put it 10, 10, or 1, for example, right? But the interface on itself is G00, right? Or GI00, right? So I will choose the interface G001. Let's take one for the VLAN 10. And see, now I'm on config sub F. It's not config F, right? Config F is for interface that we did before. Now config sub F, I'm on the virtual interface inside the interface 00. Okay. And I'm going to choose the encapsulation .1q and the number of the VLAN. So this one gonna be my VLAN 10, right? Or the number of it here. There you go, I guess. And after I'm gonna put the IP address. So in the example, and I don't remember if we should take the number here, or let's try it like this. Otherwise, I'm gonna change it after. So I don't remember, here is the number that we take here, or the number of the VLAN, because number of the number of the VLAN for sure should be. Okay, so IP add. Now I need to add the IP address for this one. Remember that we already choose the IP address for our VLAN 10 as default gateway here, the 1.100. IP add is the same command to add an IP address that we used before. So the IP address followed by the subnet mask 192.168.100 255.255.255.0. There we go. And the other one will be the interface 2. See, it's the same 00 here. I'm taking 2. .1q20. I guess. And the IP address is gonna be 2.100.255. And yeah, I forget the no shot for each one. So I'm gonna choose again the interface no shot. And I'm gonna choose the interface no shot. And I'm gonna choose the interface on itself and no shot. Here we go. Do show run just to see what we have here. All right, see that I already have the encapsulations here. I'm gonna try it like this, or otherwise I'm gonna change the stuff here to the same. But as I do remember, it's not really a condition to have the same, I guess. Duck, duck, duck. Version time. Okay, okay. So the IPs are inside each interface here. If we go to the 00, see that we don't have any IP here at all, right? We can put an IP, by the way, a different one, of course, than the two others. Like for example, 1.10, something like that, or we can just let it like this. Okay, I guess we did it. I think so, right? So let's try to ping the same one. So you see that I'm going from the red to the red, I'm going from the green to the green. And we should be able to ping from the red to the green. Failed and successful, see? And here, failed and successful. And from red to green here, successful. And from red to green here, successful. So of course, the routing protocol is going over the router here. The two interface that, as you can see them, is the Giga 00 that have the 100 and the 100. The router is routing in between, as he routing between two real port numbers, right? If I have, for example, gig 00 and gig 01, the router, once we have the default gateway in each side, he's gonna just route between two. This is one of the first the first example that we did on the packet tracer, right? That was that router having switch in each side and having a computer here and a computer here. And we ping these two computers. We don't have nothing to do but putting the default gateway in each side. Default gateway in each side. In this case, is just something like this. So we don't have, but we did it double, right? But it's something like this. So we have another computer here, and they belong to two different networks. And the router gonna route in two different cards, but the two different cards are virtual, and one cable that have the trunk because there's multiple networks here. And this one is in mode access, and this one is in mode access, and that's it. Okay. So it's kind of the same as this one. Instead having two switches, see, so I have computer here, computer here. So this one and this one are almost equal. This one is the same infrastructure with one cable, with one port number, with one switch. And this is have the regular one, so two port numbers. Okay. And as you can see here, it's two different IP addresses that the router is routing packets in between the tags of the VLANs on the frames. And the both network cards are under 00.1 and 00.2. Okay, under the 00. And you see that the 00 is not set at all with an IP. It's just the sub virtual network cards that they are set. And you saw that we can finally ping with completely two different networks here with the same infrastructure, same cables, right? Remember, mode access, mode access. One cable have two or more. This is more trunk, right? This is having just one VLAN, so mode access, mode access. One cable having more, two or more. This is more trunk, right? The .1Q encapsulation is command used to split virtual network cards with the protocol .1Q. Do we have any question here, guys? Have any question? Everybody's good here? We're good? All good. Okay, perfect. What about the others? We're good? Because we finished, right? We finished the module officially. We're done. So you just finish your project, submit it, right, today. Remember, next Saturday you have a workshop with Kelly at 8:30. And yeah, from 8:30 to 10. And after at 10, I'm gonna give you an exam, right? It will be virtual machines. So routing on virtual machines. We started the module doing routing on virtual machines, if you remember, here on this module, right? So gonna be subnets and 2 or 3 routers. You're gonna have a server, something like that, and the DHCP relay agent, etc., etc. So this is gonna be your first portion of the exam. On Sunday, you're gonna have the theory on the morning. Yeah, quiz on Sunday, just Karan, yeah, of course. On Sunday, gonna be the theory, the quiz on the morning, and after you will have a packet tracer ready, right? Of course, with many errors inside that you need to correct them, but it's ready. So I'm gonna give you the packet tracer. You're gonna open it. I will not give you a picture or something like we did with the lab. You're gonna have the packet tracer. You're gonna have the routers, etc. in there, and you will configure everything in there, right? It will be splitted on 2 or 3 little small labs like this one, right? Small stuff like this one. You're gonna have 2, 3 routers between computers and different protocols and different questions that just I'm gonna need to see if you want to do this or not. For the rest of the day, right? So it's gonna be the packet tracer. Okay. So the things that would be counted, of course, is the big lob that I give you yesterday. Please submit it. You have till Saturday, right? Not today. Even if you didn't finish today or you still have errors or something, take your time. I need to have it on next Saturday at the end of the day. So this is the deadline of it. So that one, and you're gonna have the virtual machines on Saturday portion of the exam, and on Sunday you will have the theory on the morning and after the packet tracer exam, and that's it. We will be done with this module forever. I hope so. And yeah, after we're gonna start the boring exchange, and that's it. I told you yesterday, it's the last sprint. How many VMs we need on Saturday? I guess you're gonna need 3 routers or 2 and DC and client. But I'm gonna give you time, of course, on Saturday to install that. I will let you know in the Friday, I guess, something like that. Or let's see it, check it for sure now. Yeah, you're gonna need the 4 servers and 1 client for the wall exam. Okay. You're gonna need 4 servers and 1 client. But you can prepare them now if you already finished today, or you will have time on Saturday, because Saturday this is the only thing that you're gonna do, and the exam on itself I'm gonna give you like 2.5 hours for it, or maybe 3 hours. So the time before you will prepare your machines, or even when you're gonna do the workshop in the same time, because Kaylee gonna explain to you stuff in there, you can install your machines in the same time, right? In the meantime. Other questions? So please, guys, you do the same lab that I did here. Okay, you do the same lab that I did here, and you submit it on. You see the VLAN example practice. VLAN example practice. You have my old packet tracer inside, configured inside. So you can go and check the config run if you want inside. But you do your own VLAN packet tracer, right? Do something simple like this one, 2 VLANs. You can play with 3 if you want, right? It's up to you. Letting it open for you. All I need is that you practice and you submit what you practiced, and it should work, of course, right? So start with something very simple like me, like here. 2 VLANs, name them, and 2 switches, and that's it. All right. So please do this. Please do this. And submit the packet tracer on VLAN example practice, the last thing in there. Here you go. Please, guys, if you don't have a question, I'm gonna let you work. Well, get ready on next weekend. There are gonna be several exams in there. All right. Practice. If you need me, I'm here till 4 p.m. of course. And what I'm missing? Am I missing something? We finished, right? We finished the module. There's no question. We're good. Okay. Okay, guys. Don't forget to start today. Start today to do your VLAN, right? Practice your VLANs first. Practice your VLANs. You have all the commands on the PDF. You have an example in there where to submit the project. I already opened it yesterday. You see lab topology all just before VLANs. Davinder, I opened it yesterday. It's called lab topology all. Okay. Just before the PDF of the VLAN, you put your lab project in there. That's yeah. I know that I forgot something for the RIP BGP. Is the Joban asked me yesterday that it didn't work the distribution, and I forgot to tell you about that. I completely forgot. I wasn't even sure about it since that I forgot about it since a long time ago. Yeah, there's no such a distribution of RIP over the BGP. Okay, you can distribute it, and I asked him to try something that I know that it will not work for sure. I don't know if it worked. Joban, did it work? You told me that you have time to try it with the jumper in between of the GRP.
I haven't tried it. Yeah.
Ah, okay, no problem. It's okay. It's okay. No problem. I thought you already did it.
I'm gonna try it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, I know that it will not work technically because this is the predecessor of it. So you need to have the adjacency at least to be able to redistribute something in there. It's not just enabling inside, right? So this is technically right, but we never know. You know, packet tracer, never know. Maybe if you're gonna enable that and you just use it as a node in between. It was just an idea, right? It's just an idea. But wherever you have REAP, in the lab that is in touch with BGP, remove that BGP and just to distribute straight directly with the other. You don't have much. You have the REAP with the OSPF in the bottom. That's it. This is where you have the REAP. It's just the yellow part. So you just manage to distribute REAP over OSPF and OSPF over REAP directly between one of the routers in there. That's it. And the other side between the OSPF and UGRP and between the two autonomous system of UGRP, you can practice BGP in there. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I think now I didn't forget anything. I hope so, right? But by the way, I'm always here, right? Till 4 p.m. If you need me or whatever, just send me a message. Okay, guys, take care. Please get ready. Next weekend, yeah, will be sport in there, right? Many exams, and yeah, have fun and have a nice weekend. Nice week, by the way. Okay, guys, see you. There's no online student as usually, right? Just for confirmation, there's no online or somebody's sick or whatever. You are all in the classroom. Look like yes. Okay, so I'm gonna finish the session. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.